Hey everyone, welcome to the Reality Access. Here we bring you the latest 90-day fiancé news and exclusive updates every day. If you enjoy the video, subscribe to the channel now.
90-Day Fiancé star Elizabeth Castrovet reveals the sudden passing of her father, Chuck Podhast, a devastating loss that has shaken the entire family. Fans of the 90-Day Fiancé franchise were left stunned and heartbroken after Elizabeth, or Libby Castrovet, shared the painful news that her father, Chuck Podhast, has passed away unexpectedly. The announcement came through a deeply emotional joint Instagram statement posted by Elizabeth and her husband, Andrei Castrovet, confirming that their family is facing an unimaginable tragedy. In her message, Elizabeth expressed the overwhelming sorrow they are experiencing. 2 weeks ago, tragedy struck our family, and it has left us completely shattered, she wrote. My sweet, loving, and caring dad went to heaven. We're trying to figure out how to navigate our lives and move forward without him. Her words carried the weight of profound grief. Not simply the loss of a parent, but the loss of a man who had been her steady support system, her protector, and a constant source of reassurance throughout her life. She concluded the message by asking for understanding during this fragile period. Please respect our privacy during this extremely difficult time, she added, emphasizing that the family is still coming to terms with the shock. For viewers who have followed 90-Day Fiancé and its many spin-offs over the years, Chuck Podhast was far more than a background figure. He became a recognizable and significant presence on screen, a father who stood firmly beside his daughter even when tensions within the family reached explosive levels. Though he was known for being direct and sometimes stern, his loyalty to Elizabeth and commitment to family were always evident. According to People magazine, Chuck had been fighting glioblastoma, one of the most aggressive and rapidly progressing forms of brain cancer. Glioblastoma is widely recognized as a particularly severe diagnosis, often resistant to treatment and known for its difficult prognosis. While Chuck had spoken publicly about certain health challenges in the past, many fans were unaware of how serious his battle had become in recent months. Health struggles had quietly shaped parts of Chuck's life for years. In a 2022 episode of the show, he openly reflected on surviving cancer at a time when the Podhast family was facing deep internal division. Elizabeth had become estranged from her siblings, and arguments within the family were escalating. The emotional strain was evident, and Chuck did not hide how much it troubled him. In one memorable scene, he spoke honestly to Andrei about his fears regarding the family's fractured relationships. Referencing his survival through illness, he stated, "The Lord didn't save my life to see my family fractured like this." The statement was filled with emotion, a mixture of gratitude for his second chance at life and sorrow over the disunity among his children. He strongly encouraged therapy and urged everyone to work through their issues, saying firmly, "I want this fixed." Looking back now, those words carry even deeper meaning. They reflect the heart of a father who, after facing serious illness, valued unity above pride and reconciliation above conflict. Chuck appeared repeatedly across the 90-Day Fiancé universe, including on 90-Day Fiancé and 90-Day Happily Ever After. Audiences watched him navigate the often chaotic dynamic between Elizabeth, Andrei, and her siblings. Family dinners sometimes turned into heated confrontations. Business discussions sparked tension. Cultural differences created misunderstandings. Yet through it all, Chuck attempted to serve as a stabilizing force. While disagreements were unavoidable, especially between Andrei and other members of the Podhast family, Chuck frequently sought compromise. He wanted communication. He wanted resolution. Most importantly, he wanted his children united. Elizabeth and Andrei's relationship itself has been central to the franchise's storyline. The couple initially connected through a dating app, beginning a romance that crossed international borders. Their relationship eventually led Andrei to leave Moldova and start a new life in the United States. They married in 2017, and their journey, filled with love, disagreements, cultural adjustments, and immigration challenges, unfolded in front of millions of viewers. Over time, Elizabeth and Andrei built their own family. In 2019, they welcomed Eleanor, bringing joy and new beginnings into their lives. Then, in 2022, their son Winston was born, completing their growing household and making Chuck a proud grandfather of 2. On screen, viewers often saw Chuck sharing tender moments with his granddaughter Eleanor. His affection was unmistakable. He seemed deeply proud of Elizabeth's children and cherished his role as a grandfather. Those moments now feel especially poignant in light of his passing, as his grandchildren will grow up with memories and recorded footage of his love for them. Earlier this year, in September, Chuck provided followers with a health update following what was expected to be a routine surgical procedure. In a reel shared by a 90-Day Fiancé fan page, he explained that the surgery was initially meant to last 3 to 4 hours to repair hernias caused by earlier cancer-related operations. However, once doctors began the procedure, they encountered far more serious complications than anticipated. Chuck revealed that his stomach wall had completely collapsed, requiring extensive reconstruction. What began as a relatively straightforward operation turned into a much longer and more complicated surgery. Despite the seriousness of the situation, Chuck maintained a tone of gratitude and resilience. He did not focus on fear or frustration. Instead, he emphasized recovery and appreciation for the medical team's work. That strength, the ability to remain hopeful even amid physical hardship, defined much of his public journey. Now, fans are revisiting that update with heavy hearts, realizing how much he may have been enduring behind the scenes. Following the announcement of his passing, social media quickly filled with condolences from viewers who had followed the family for years. Many fans expressed sympathy, sharing how they had watched Chuck navigate family tension while still showing devotion to his daughter. While he was no stranger to dramatic moments on reality television, he was also clearly a father trying to protect his child and maintain stability within a complicated family dynamic. For Elizabeth, this loss is intensely personal. Chuck was not simply a television personality, he was her father, her source of comfort, and someone who supported her through marriage, motherhood, and public scrutiny. Grieving the death of a parent is devastating under any circumstance, but experiencing that grief while living in the public eye adds another layer of emotional complexity. Andrei stood beside Elizabeth in their joint statement, demonstrating unity during this painful chapter. Over the years, his relationship with Chuck evolved. While they occasionally disagreed, particularly regarding business matters and family disagreements, there were also moments of respect and mutual understanding. Chuck had even offered Andrei opportunities within the family business, signaling trust despite prior conflicts. That layered relationship makes the loss even more significant. It represents not just the passing of a father-in-law, but the loss of a mentor figure whose approval and guidance carried weight. Elizabeth's words, trying to figure out how to navigate our lives and move forward without him, capture the raw and disorienting nature of grief. Life continues, but it feels permanently altered. Everyday routines become reminders of absence. Memories resurface unexpectedly. The world feels both the same and entirely different. Chuck Pothast leaves behind children, grandchildren, extended family, and a documented television legacy that showcased both the messy and beautiful sides of family life. Viewers witnessed heated arguments, tearful reconciliations, vulnerable confessions, and moments of genuine affection. All of those scenes now carry deeper emotional resonance. His heartfelt plea for family unity in 2022 stands as one of his most powerful televised moments. A father who survived illness only to worry about emotional division. A man who believed his life had been spared for a purpose. A parent who prioritized healing above all else. In the aftermath of his passing, many fans hope that wish for reconciliation becomes part of his lasting legacy. As the Castrovet and Pothast families grieve privately, messages of love and prayer continue to pour in. Elizabeth's request for privacy reflects how fresh and painful this loss remains. Grief does not operate on a schedule. It lingers in quiet spaces. It appears in sudden waves. And for Elizabeth, Andrei, Eleanor, Winston, and the extended family, the absence of Chuck Pothast will be felt in countless moments: birthdays, holidays, celebrations, and ordinary days in between. Chuck's life was marked by resilience. He faced serious medical battles. He navigated public criticism. He endured family conflict. Yet throughout it all, his devotion to those he loved remained constant. And perhaps that is the legacy that matters most. In Elizabeth's own words, he was sweet, loving, and caring. In the end, those qualities define him far more than any televised argument ever could.
90 Day Fiancé star Elizabeth Castrovet announced the unexpected death of her beloved father, Chuck Pothast, a family shattered by tragedy. In heartbreaking news that has left fans of the 90 Day Fiancé franchise in shock, Elizabeth, or Libby Castrovet, announced the sudden and unexpected passing of her beloved father, Chuck Pothast. The emotional announcement was shared in a joint Instagram post with her husband, Andrei Castrovet, revealing that their family has been left devastated by the tragic loss. 2 weeks ago, tragedy struck our family, and it has left us completely shattered, Elizabeth wrote in the deeply emotional statement. My sweet, loving, and caring dad went to heaven. We're trying to figure out how to navigate our lives and move forward without him. Her words reflected profound grief, not only the loss of a father, but the loss of a guiding force, a protector, and a constant presence in her life. Elizabeth also gently asked for compassion and understanding from the public during this painful time. She added, "Please respect our privacy during this extremely difficult time," making it clear that the family is still processing the shock and heartbreak. For longtime viewers of 90 Day Fiancé and its various spin-offs, Chuck Pothast was more than just a supporting cast member. He was a familiar face, often seen standing firmly behind his daughter Elizabeth and her husband, Andrei, even during moments of tension and family conflict. His presence on the show gave viewers a window into his personality, strong-willed, outspoken at times, but ultimately deeply devoted to his family. According to People magazine, Chuck had been battling glioblastoma, an aggressive and fast-growing form of brain cancer. Glioblastoma is known as one of the most serious and difficult-to-treat brain cancers, often progressing rapidly despite treatment efforts. Although Chuck had previously shared updates about his health, many fans did not realize how serious his condition had become in recent months. Throughout the years, Chuck's health struggles had quietly been part of his journey. In fact, he referenced his past cancer battles during a 2022 episode of the show, at a time when tensions within the Pothast family were particularly high. Elizabeth had been estranged from her siblings, and emotions were running strong. In one powerful and emotional scene, Chuck spoke candidly to Andrei about his fears for the future of the family. Reflecting on surviving cancer, he said, "The Lord didn't save my life to see my family fractured like this." His voice carried both frustration and heartbreak, revealing how deeply the family division affected him. He urged everyone to seek therapy and work through their issues, adding firmly, "I want this fixed." Those words now feel even more poignant in light of his passing, a father who desperately wanted unity and healing among his children. Chuck had appeared in multiple episodes across the 90 Day Fiancé universe, including 90 Day Fiancé and 90 Day Happily Ever After. Viewers watched him as he supported Elizabeth and Andrei through numerous ups and downs, from cultural differences and financial disagreements to intense arguments between Andrei and Elizabeth's siblings. At times, Chuck found himself in the middle of family drama, particularly as tensions escalated between Andrei and the rest of the Podhast family. Despite disagreements and explosive confrontations, Chuck often tried to maintain balance. He wanted peace, he wanted understanding, and above all, he wanted his family to stay together. Elizabeth and Andrei's love story itself has been a central storyline in the franchise. The couple first met on a dating app, beginning a cross-cultural relationship that would eventually bring Andrei from Moldova to the United States. They tied the knot in 2017, and their journey was documented extensively on television, including their wedding celebrations, immigration challenges, and family disputes. Together, Elizabeth and Andrei built a family of their own. They welcomed their daughter Eleanor in 2019, bringing joy and new beginnings into their lives. In 2022, their son Winston was born, expanding their family and giving Chuck 2 grandchildren to cherish. Chuck was often seen doting on Eleanor, and fans could see how much he adored being a grandfather. His role in his grandchildren's lives was clearly meaningful to him, making the loss even more heartbreaking for the young family. Earlier this year in September, Chuck had shared an update about his health following a lengthy surgery. In a reel posted by a 90-Day Fiancé fan page, he described what was supposed to be a relatively straightforward procedure. My surgery was supposed to be about 3 to 4 hours long to fix hernias from my previous cancer operations that had developed, Chuck explained. However, once doctors began the procedure, they discovered more serious complications. Once they got in there, they seen that my stomach wall had completely collapsed, so they had to fix that, which they did. The surgery became far more extensive than expected. Despite the seriousness of the situation, Chuck appeared determined and hopeful in his message. He didn't complain, he didn't dwell on fear. Instead, he focused on gratitude and recovery, a testament to the resilience he had shown throughout his health battles. Fans now look back at that update with heavy hearts, realizing how much he had been enduring privately. The news of Chuck's passing has sparked an outpouring of support from viewers across social media. Many fans have expressed condolences, sharing memories of watching him on television and appreciating his authenticity. While he was sometimes involved in dramatic moments on the show, he was also seen as a father trying to protect his daughter and navigate complicated family dynamics in front of millions of viewers. For Elizabeth, the loss is deeply personal. Chuck wasn't just a reality TV personality, he was her father, her source of strength, and someone who had stood by her side through marriage, motherhood, and public scrutiny. Losing a parent is one of life's most painful experiences, and for Elizabeth, that grief is unfolding under the spotlight. Andrei, too, shared in the joint message, standing firmly beside his wife during this unimaginable time. Over the years, their relationship with Chuck had evolved. While Andrei and Chuck occasionally clashed, particularly over business matters and family tensions, there were also moments of respect and growth between them. Chuck had supported Andrei professionally at times, even giving him opportunities within the family business. Those complicated yet meaningful dynamics make his loss even more emotional for the entire family. As Elizabeth wrote, they are now trying to figure out how to navigate our lives and move forward without him. Those words capture the raw reality of grief, the disorientation, the emptiness, and the uncertainty of a world that suddenly feels different. Chuck Podhast leaves behind not only children and grandchildren, but also a television legacy that documented both the beauty and chaos of family life. Viewers witnessed arguments, reconciliations, heartfelt confessions, and vulnerable moments that now carry deeper meaning. His 2022 plea for unity within his family stands as one of his most powerful on-screen moments. A father who survived cancer, only to fear that family division might tear them apart. A man who believed that faith had spared his life for a reason. A parent who wanted healing more than anything else. Now, in the wake of his passing, fans can only hope that his family honors that wish. As the Castrovet and Pothast families grieve privately, supporters continue to send love, prayers, and strength. Elizabeth's request for privacy underscores just how raw the situation remains. Grief does not follow a timeline. Shock lingers, memories surface unexpectedly, and for Elizabeth, Andrei, and their children, life will now carry the absence of a man who once stood firmly at the center of their world. Chuck Pothast's journey was not easy. He'd battled serious illness, he navigated public scrutiny, he endured family conflict. Yet, through it all, he remained devoted to those he loved. And in Elizabeth's words, he was sweet, loving, and caring, perhaps the most important legacy any father can leave behind.
90 Day Fiancé star Elizabeth Castrovet announced her father, Chuck Pothast, has died. In a joint Instagram post with her husband, Andrei Castrovet, Elizabeth shared that Chuck had passed unexpectedly. 2 weeks ago, tragedy struck our family, and it has left us completely shattered, she wrote. My sweet, loving, and caring dad went to heaven. We're trying to figure out how to navigate our lives and move forward without him. Please respect our privacy during this extremely difficult time, she added. According to People, Chuck had been struggling with glioblastoma, an aggressive form of brain cancer. Chuck was featured in multiple episodes of 90 Day Fiancé and some of its spin-offs, like 90 Day Happily Ever After, supporting his daughter and son-in-law through ups and downs. Elizabeth and Andrei initially met on a dating app before tying the knot in 2017. They shared 2 children, Eleanor, born in 2019, and Winston, born in 2022. Elizabeth's father referenced his previous cancer struggles on the show in a 2022 episode when Elizabeth was estranged from her siblings. He told Andrei at the time, "The Lord didn't save my life to see my family fractured like this," and urged his family to go to therapy, adding, "I want this fixed." Chuck had posted about his health in September of this year after a lengthy surgery. My surgery was supposed to be about 3 to 4 hours long to fix hernias from my previous cancer operations that had developed. Once they got in there, they seen that my stomach wall had completely collapsed, so they had to fix that, which they did, he said in a reel shared by a 90 Day Fiancé page.